Welcome back, folks, to another flight. Welcome to my channel. We are here to carry on now with our Brisbane to Adelaide leg of our flight we started back in Cairns. So, like always, when I fly this aircraft, I like to do the good old VOR flying. So we're going to be doing, VOR radio flying, so we'll be flying pretty much using our radio navigation, which is always good fun doing it with these aircraft. So yes, we are going to be flying to Adelaide. I'm just going to add in this Brisbane VOR so I have some reference. So type in BN. And Brisbane, we'll add that into there. Add to route, add before Coffs Harbour, so we can get a nice bearing for our... Oops, did I do it the wrong way? Hold up a sec, did I do that right? I'm just fiddling around with SimBrief just quickly. Yes, I am going down to Coffs Harbour, so I'll just I must have added it in the wrong way, so I'm just going to clear that, remove. I was supposed to click before, so make sure you don't make that mistake. Just playing around with my SimBrief flight plan, just because I notice I'm overweight, so I'm just dropping down the cargo, and we will add in Adelaide for our final bearing, but I haven't put it into the SimBrief plan because it makes me do that annoying fly over the VOR, then it'll give me vectoring, so I really don't want to have that. So as you can see with our flight plan, just see my final SimBrief. I'm just going to reduce the cargo even more. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that flight plan, so we're going to head on into the inside here just to get out of the loudness. Just trying... Let's see what this does when I add in this freight. Oh, I just remove that. What does that give me? Perfect, I've got the flight plan sorted out. My initial flight plan is going to be, the altitude it's got me set for is 31,000 feet, but we'll probably just keep it at 27. This aircraft does struggle with the altitudes. Right, that's our flight plan added into our electronic flight bag. We can now import our flight plan. Start our refueling, start our boarding, Sweet, we can now go ahead and close up the doors. Remember to turn on your AC pump. And let's see if SimBrief will pick up our flight plan. Not SimBrief, I mean FSHUD. Right, we'll close up those doors. That sounds a lot better. Right, let's go ahead and start. Well, what we'll do is we'll turn on our flight directors so they're all armed and ready. We'll go ahead and scroll up our altitude to, we'll make it 29,000 feet. Make sure you arm that. And then our heading bug, we're going to be setting that to our runway heading. Request flight clearance. And we might as well turn on all of our fuel pumps. We'll power up our TMS and we'll just test it. And it's given us runway 01 right, which is what I wanted. Let's go to takeoff, and we're going to select flaps 24 for our takeoff, so it's setting up all of those values automatically, and we'll just turn that off. And before we turn on our engines, we get this engine anti-ice and the continuous ignitions on. And we'll turn off the AC pump. And we've got fuel in our center tank, so we'll turn on our auto transfer of our fuel. Release the chocks, we're ready to go. Turn on our strobe, our beacon light. Oh, not that. Alright, let's start the arduous task of turning on all of our engines, so get that powered on. Get that fuel into the engine. Of course, always watching what you're doing, don't want to bump into a multi-million-dollar aircraft. Right, I think that will do us perfectly just there. Right, let's get into starting up all of these other engines. And while that engine is starting up, we'll enter in our radios. Fuel can come in there. Transponder was already on from our last flight. So I'm going to select 3.2 for the Brisbane's VOR, that which we had from our last flight as well. Coffs Harbour can now come to here, 17 is it? Perfect, we'll go up here and start our next engine. And we'll get Coffs Harbour into this one here, 17. And we'll add fuel into the engine. And our bearings are going to be 169. And what is our takeoff that they've given us? Sweet, so BN4, which is just your standard, just your standard blah, blah, blah. It's your standard VOR departure, so just flying out on runway heading, I do believe. Yeah, runway 0, heading runway 16, 016. And then we'll get vectors once we're up in the air, so we'll set this one up to 273. Get it, you want to get yourself all ahead of the game as much as possible. 237 I should have said. Sweet. That's us all set, so we can now come up here. That's the engine all turned on, so we turn that to off, turn the master switch to off. And Gen 4 and Gen 1 can come on. Can turn on our PTU and all of our engine pumps. What else? We did forget to turn off the packs when we turned off our engines, but that's alright. We don't need the engine anti-noise, so they can come off. Select that to on, which I think you should turn that on before you start the engines, but we forgot to do that, but that's alright. It's now on. Taxi lights can come on, and we are pretty much set for our taxi. We're just going to power on up and start taxiing to our runway. Select flaps 18. 24. Actually, we'll just do flaps 18 for our takeoff. So turn on our FMS, select flaps 18. Make sure our takeoff config's good, which it is. And we'll turn on this our warning button. Alright, we're just going to turn our strobe lights and our landing lights just to get it all ready. We're just going to get going, and we'll turn on that radar to the TARA. Can turn on our weather radar too. Oh, that's not the weather, that one there's what we want. And we're just going to get going. Oh. Right, we're now ready to take off, folks. Just a bit rough around the edges there, but everything's all good. Alright, we'll throttle up.
Power set,
And away we go.
Speed alive, both sides. 80 knots cross-checked. V1. Rotate. V2. Positive rate to climb, gear up.
Nice watching it take off, watching the landing gear go up. It's definitely a very nice aircraft. Can't wait for this to be ported over to Flight Simulator 2024. Right, the moment of truth, going outside as it upset our first officer. I think we would have got in our flaps up request by now. We'll find out. Oh, no, that's good.
Speed. Select flaps up.
Right, we're going to go, let's turn on the autopilot, and we're going to be turning to 095. Oh, still doing the heading, so we'll go back to that. Alright, we're going to select that there. And we're going to just go, we're flying direct to Coffs Harbour, but we're just going to go all the way back to the Brisbane VOR. And we will turn on the, so there's a bit involved flying this aircraft, but once you break it up, it's actually pretty easy. So we turn on our engineer, turn off our APU, we can turn off our pitot and AC pumps. Now the weather radar's working so far, which is good. Right, we've got Coffs Harbour on our frequency, so we're just going to go ahead and switch that over. And we've basically lined up for the VOR, so we're just going to go VOR. Just make sure that is set to the right frequency. $17 it is, so that's good. And we're just going to come ahead here and just get this VOR all set up too, so 16 for Tamworth. Right, we can turn off the continuous ignition, and we can turn off the APU, and we're above 10,000 feet, so we're going to speed it up to 250. So push my brake button, which is the afterburner trigger, which triggers the sync button, get it up to around about 250, re-engage the autopilot by pushing the brake button, which is afterburner, which is also the for this the sync autopilot, and it's going to follow that speed and carry on down to Coffs Harbour. Right, we'll turn off our landing lights, turn off our runway exit lights, we'll turn off our seatbelt sign. Just making sure everything's all set, so it looks like everything's all tidied up. Yep, we can now just sit back and enjoy the flight. Oh, we better go into standard mode as well. And we've got ice, so we'll turn on these. We might as well turn on the engine anti-ice as well, which will probably soak up quite a bit of power. It's always nice braking above the clouds, isn't it? Let's see if that weather radar's picking anything up. Doesn't look like there is anything there. Anyway, we can now turn off our anti-ice, all of our anti-ice devices. We don't need those now. We're well and truly above the worst of it. Alright, we're getting up to our speed now, our cruising altitude, so we'll set this to roughly Mach 0.68, thereabouts. And like what I went through in the video before this and a few of my previous BAE videos, we will try and set up this FMS, this TMC, to use it as a very basic auto throttle function. Yeah, I think that's as much as we're going to get out of this BAE. I mean, it probably could go up to 31,000 feet, but let me just have a look at this flight, the previous flight this exact aircraft did. I'll just see what... Yeah, it got up to 28,000 feet. And the flight in real life, it looks like it I do believe the aircraft, the BAEs that are operational with Qantas, and the various aircraft that airlines are the actual airlines that maintain them. I do believe that they have the latest avionics, well, not quite glass cockpits, but I do believe they've got like a flight management computer, and these screens are digital, I do believe, to show them where they are in the world. So yeah, in real life they definitely don't do these VOR to VOR flying. It's all done with GPS and whatnot. But yeah, I like to, as you know on my channels, I do like to do these old school flying. Right, we're going to now turn off the just reset that, and we're just going to power this back just to see what our sweet spot is. So that's sort of holding, I think. So what we've got there, we've got about 780. Sweet, so we've got a whole range to play with. So we will now come on here and we'll go TGT management, sync, and we'll just use that, and that will hopefully all, as you can see, all of the engines all winding down to match engine number 2. And we probably could go down a whole 10, so we'll try 769. And if it does drop too much, then we will increase the TGT. But that seems to be holding alright, so we'll just try with it slowly dropping, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I might just mute the mic, and probably use the a bit of warp speed to go through this flight as quickly as possible, so it doesn't become a long drawn out video. So we'll see you again when it comes to our landing, to our descent. But yeah, you guys sort of know now how to use the TMS, and you've seen enough of my videos to know how to do VOR flying. So just sit back and relax and enjoy the flight, and we'll see you guys shortly. Welcome back, folks. I realised one of these what you call them, these navigation radios is a NDB. So far we're getting reception all the way back to the previous Tamworth VOR, but yeah, if you were to do these in Flight Simulator and you don't have a long range of the previous VOR, you're just flying, so you can point that needle into the relative position or turn off the, just keep it on the ADF. So that's heading is 214 at the moment, and it's round about what we have it set for that. So we are probably just a little bit to the left of it, but we are getting a bit too close now for it to be 100% accurate, and these things aren't really, they're not exactly the most accurate thing. I'm just setting up my outbound and just getting the VOR set for the next bit. But yeah, that's basically how you can fly these things. So we're just gonna go into heading mode, because of course there's no autopilot function, so you have to fly this manually usually. And yeah, just turning towards it just to get it back on track again. So we want to try and drag that needle back to 214. So we're, as you can see, the needle's slowly drifting back to the desired course. But because we're getting so close to it now, it's going to be pretty inaccurate. But we will try and see if we can line it up for our outbound. So at 186, we want to have it pointing 186 the tail end. So let's see how we do that. So it's slowly pulling around. And we can scroll back our TMS back down to 740. It's starting to get away from us just a little bit. And yeah, that's sort of roughly how you can fly with the fly this aircraft just using NDBs. It's possible. It's not the most, it's a bit more hands-on, I guess you can say, but it's definitely doable. But I'm just going to go back into VR mode because it's just so much easier. And yeah, that's what you do. And we're going to dial this down again. And we'll see you later on, folks. Alright folks, we're pretty much ready for our descent into Adelaide, so we'll just get a bit closer before we start our descent. I think we've been given instructions for our arrival, and I've just set it for the runway, the parking bay that I'm going to park up at. That this real world flight from Brisbane to Adelaide did. So yeah, we will be starting our descent very, very shortly. So around about 87 nautical miles, give or take, we'll start our descent, but we'll get that first. We'll just set it for our, because we're flying pretty quickly and all the rest of it, we'll just set it to our final approach fix of what appears to be 3.8. We'll start it off with that. They'll give us altitude restrictions, but we'll just set it for our less. What was it again? 3.8 was it? 3.8. Right, we'll get to around about 90 nautical miles, then we'll start our descent. So we will... Right, we'll preset that to our final approach fix, which is our RLS heading, which is 2222, which is there, and we will pre-select our RLS 97. Perfect. And we'll start our descent now, so make sure you RM your altitude and you select vertical speed mode, and we'll just sync the autopilot, drop the nose down to around about 2,000 feet per minute, and we'll go descent mode, and we'll just start our leisurely cruise down back to Earth. We'll just speed up the game a little bit more as we enjoy flying over the more drier, parched area of Australia. Not quite the outback, but it's still pretty dry out there according to when this satellite photo was taken. Just seeing where this MOPRI is that ATC want to guide me to, which so happens to be the beginning of our ILS, which is perfect. It's not going to send me on some wild goose chase. Right, it's given us our clearance to fly. We'll just descend to 3.3 and we'll set our QNH, so we can now go into here and just select our QNH 008. Perfect. Oh, and what we will do is we'll turn on our AC pump and we'll turn on our landing lights. Turn on our runway extension, exit lights, the seatbelt fasten sign can now come on, and we will turn on our, actually it's our pitot that we turn on first, and we'll get our APU fired up. And we'll just shallow out the descent just a little bit. Alright, we'll turn right to 60, eh? And we'll set flaps. We'll select flaps 30, same as our Brisbane approach. We don't need to go too hard with our we don't need to go too slow with our landing. I think there's not really many turboprops that use this airport. I'll just keep our speed up just a little bit. Right, we'll turn on our AC pump to auto. Right, we've got our ILS picking up, so we're just going to select our ILS, and we want to go right down to 180, so we'll just go use this, just select 180 in here so we know where we're going to be at.
Speed checked below 205. Select flaps 18.
So we're just following all of these vectorings, so everything seems to be going pretty good. Making sure we don't get too slow as well.
Glide slopes alive, 1 dot to go.
Right, sweet, we're going to arm the ILS.
Localizer armed. Localizer captured.
And we're going to
Glide
activate
armed.
glide slope.
Glide slope captured.
Sweet, we're already, that was pretty good vectoring there by Mr. ATC man, so that went really well. Just going to speed up just a little bit, and we'll turn over, switch over to our APU now, so we'll turn our APU air and turn off these.
Established on the ILS.
I think we should turn on our continuous ignition, I think.
Climb.
And they want us to do our minimum speed, so I'm guessing we need to dial that all the way back to what our around about 130, so we'll just pull back the speed.
2500.
Speed check below 205, select gear down.
Sweet, it's good to know that we still get our first officer callouts for our speed, for our flaps and whatnot, which is always quite handy. Although we should be getting one for our flaps, so something's happened there. But we're just going to go fully configured for flaps 30 and enjoy the view outside. Always keeping our speed in check because there is no autopilot. But yeah, we're flying over the beautiful Adelaide city. Which is, this whole area is Adelaide, then you've got Adelaide, the main Adelaide city just up here. Beautiful city. I went there a couple of years ago. I like how it's got this big screen, like, I guess you could call it a green zone sort of box all around the city. It's really, really cool, like a park that goes right around the whole city. It is definitely a really cool, cool city. Just putting up the speed just a little bit. But yeah, beautiful city, beautiful landscape. I really do like Adelaide, it's a really cool place. And yeah, it's got a really cool, as I mentioned many times in that last sentence, it's a really cool CBD. It's got like little botanical gardens. Yeah, I really enjoyed my time there in Adelaide. Got a nice little cricket ground there and a church. I don't think you can quite pick it out, but there is like this park that goes right round, like a square that goes right around the city, the CBD. Yeah, it's a really cool city. Right, I better get myself ready for this landing, so I'll turn off the autopilot.
Autopilot disconnected.
And we'll do the rest ourselves. And we'll use a combination of speed brakes. We'll just keep our throttle set to a decent sort of go around, not quite a go around, but we've got our throttles set for when we do need to use them. Looks like there's an aircraft just pulling off the runway, so that should be us cleared to land. Just make sure.
500.
But yeah, I'm just using a mixture of my speed brakes just to keep that speed down. A little bit low on the ILS, but
Plus 100.
it's pretty decent.
Minimums.
Right, we will use the throttle now, get ready for to pull it all the way
50,
back.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, bit too much flare there.
Ground idle.
There we go, spoilers are out.
Yellow and green spoilers.
Get a nice view outside for you. As we pull back on the speed. Missed that exit, so I'll use the
80
next
knots.
one. Don't need too much braking, just enough to pull that speed back, but we do need to exit the runway because there'll probably be aircraft behind
60
us.
knots.
And we'll use this taxiway here. Perfect, we've now landed in Adelaide. Second time lucky, I will not delete this video by accident. Flaps and spoilers can all come in, strobe lights and landing lights can now come off, taxi lights come on. We can turn off our extension lights. We can turn off our TMS. And we'll go through now and we'll turn off all of the anti-ice. And get rid of this little warning light. Keep it back on the runway. Turn off our weather radar as well, we don't need that anymore. Set this to transponder so it doesn't pick up ground traffic. And we're just going to just carry on over the runway, it's not in use anyway for this flight. And we are definitely going really fast around the taxiway. We're definitely taking off all of the rubber off the tyres there. We can turn off our flight directors too. And here we are in beautiful Adelaide City Airport, Adelaide International Airport. That's one aircraft I should get as, oh not aircraft, but that's a really cool livery, so maybe I'll get that livery out and do some flights with the Coburn Air. I'm guessing that's another airline that's, I mean they're still operating but they don't operate the BAEs anymore, but we should do a flight using that. And I was watching that the playback of the BAE, this exact same aircraft that flew from Brisbane to Adelaide, so I did notice that it parked ready to go outbound, so we'll do that. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived into the beautiful Adelaide City Airport. And we'll now come and turn off the transponder, power off the engines. Chocks can come on. We'll deploy all of these cargo doors. Turn off these pumps. Turn off the generators. Can turn off the continuous ignition. Engine pump and PTU can now come off. And we'll turn off the flight, we'll turn off those lights because we will do like a proper engine shutdown, so we can now turn that off. And we will now power down the APU. Disengage those lights. But yeah, when you shut down the APU, according to Just Flight's manual, you push this overspeed button up here, this APU overspeed button, and it just powers down the APU like so. And then when it gets below 60 or 40, you just turn it off. Apparently you do it like that because it apparently if you just turn it off like that, apparently it can like blow up the APU or something. I don't know, someone said that on a flight sim forum, so that's how you turn it off. But it's in the flight manual anyway, you turn it off like I just showed you there. And we're just shutting down the aircraft as if we've finished our flight. going through, and yeah, that's our flight done, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed our flight to Adelaide, and I guess it sort of segued on from the Brisbane flight, the Brisbane to the Cairns to Brisbane flight. Unfortunately, that didn't go too well, with a few bugs, a few freezes and stuff, as we just explore a bit of Adelaide here. Oh, there is a Singapore Airlines and a Qatar Malaysian Airlines here at what is definitely a very busy airport. That's probably should be in the next parking bay over, but yeah. Right, right folks, I hope you enjoy that flight. Here's a nice little Air New Zealand here. That's what I flew into when I went to Adelaide. I flew in with this. Actually, I flew to Melbourne and then got a connecting flight with Virgin when Air New Zealand were with Virgin from Melbourne to Adelaide. And then the flight back, we flew Air New Zealand 777-200, which was a really nice flight. And yeah, here we are, parked up, ready for our next flight. We're pretending this is the morning now, and it's all what's the word I'm looking for? That we're finished for the day. We're just gonna close up the aircraft as if we're finished for the night. But yeah, the Ansett New Zealand, when this was with Ansett New Zealand, these windows were not there, so those passengers that were sitting there would have had no view. So we're now just going to turn it off completely now. And this is when Microsoft Flight Simulator does this weird thing. And we'll turn off the batteries. And that's our flight done and dusted, folks. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again next time.